Do you often find yourself alone, kind of sad, bored? Sounds like you need some friends. And that's what we're talking about this week on.
You're listening to a Zaboys Media Podcast.
Zaboys to Men. Hey, I'm James Thornquist, and with me always, of course, is my co-host, Chris Edwards. Chris, say hi to him.
Hello, everybody. Hope my friends out there are doing okay.
Oh, yeah. That was really smooth, actually. I didn't think about that. I hope all of our friends are doing okay. It's been so long since we've seen some of them.
Yeah. That's actually going to be a little bit of a topic tree I think we'll go into on that as we go further into friendship.
I do too. Yeah, that's what we're discussing today is the importance of friendship. Also, the not just the importance, but what's the right phrasing for this? The
maintenance, maybe?
Yes, thank you. How to maintain your friendships, especially as an adult when it gets a lot harder. And also just how to make friends as an adult, because it's not the same as when we were kids, which I think that's kind of where we start. That's my first question for you, Chris, actually, is when you were a kid, like, how did you make friends?
So I've kind of thought about that recently because I've seen, as everyone has, as they grow up, friends that they maybe played sports with. And as kids, now that they are older and they have kids, they are the sports dads. They are the coaching dads. Mm-hmm. And so there was my buddy Drew, who I played like elementary school, every sport with, like, and his dad was the coach. You know what I mean? Like, it was always a little group. We've always played all the way up until like junior high school together. And so seeing him now in the back of the sports team photo as the coach, I messaged him and was like, man, now we're growing up like that, And I realized that I think I made a lot of my friends just because I needed a sports team to play with, like, as a kid, because I was a good athlete. And the best athletes all played on the same kind of team. So I kind of got lumped into the friendship group I had as a kid because of just the activities that I did.
Yeah, like Little League or Pee Wee football, Pee Wee soccer.
Yeah.
No, I know that very well, actually. Some of my earliest friend groups came from playing T-ball and coach pitch and kid pitch, man. And I mean, and the funny thing is like, I'm not very close to all of them today. I still know them. If I cross them in public, I'm like, oh, hey, man, how you been? But I'd say out of like all of them, there's one that I still call a friend that I played like Little League baseball with. No, I take that back. There's three.
Okay, that's a lot. I think it's a high percentage.
Well, in the friendships had ups and downs. Like we're not as close as we used to be. Like, we were a lot closer in high school. One of them I'd still say is a good friend, but I haven't seen him in a while either. But it's funny because one of them, like, I don't even remember us playing together. Like, I remember our friendship starting when we went to daycare together. But he remembers us playing like not softball, but Little League baseball and T-ball and stuff together. And I'm always like, he's like, yeah, man, remember when we played for so-and-so team? And I'm like, I don't remember playing that with you. Like, he's like, yeah, no, we were both on this team. And I'm like, were we?
You gotta look at the pictures.
Yeah, and that's the thing is, like, he'll pull up the pictures and be like, yeah, here's our second year of kid pitch, man. I'm right there and you're right there. And I'm like, dude, I did not realize you were on that team with me. But yeah, man. But then I think as we get older, it starts. I think when we're kids, friendship starts as classmates. Sports team, like
kids who live around you.
Players. Yeah, kids that live around you.
I remember my friend Ricky as a kid, and Ricky was just the kid down the street from me that also went to the school. He was literally on my same street, so my mom didn't worry about me if I went 6 houses down to go hang out with Ricky and his family. Like, And then as you get older, it starts getting further and further away because you have more access to vehicles and all that stuff.
Yeah. Bicycles and then cars. And then, I mean, if you're a brave enough kid, you walk. Like, I can't think about how many blocks I walked to go see friends and hang out at their houses without even telling my mom where I was, because it was the 90s and early 2000s. You know, like, we didn't have cell phones everywhere.
Yeah, wow. Or even if we did, I remember my mom gave me a pager when I was maybe in junior high, and then a cell phone in high school. And yeah, I mean, I definitely didn't tell her everywhere I was going, and definitely told her different places I was going. You know what I mean? Like, good thing location services didn't exist then.
Yeah. Oh yeah. You know, it's funny you mentioned the pager, because like, I don't know. I thought that was one of the most uncommon things that I experienced as a kid. Like, I was given a pager in middle school while other kids were getting their first cell phones. And I was like, this doesn't do anything. Like, it was so janky that I would get random pages from numbers I did not recognize. And it wasn't one of those ones that sent messages like, this number, call me, or ASAP or anything. It just showed you who was calling. Like, what number was calling. No, and if you didn't remember that number, then you were like, I don't know who this is. So basically, I just knew if my mom was calling, and that was it.
Well, you're screening your pager calls so you don't, get lost in the sauce of advertisements on the pager.
Oh yeah. Did you ever like give your first crush your pager number?
No, I did not. I didn't. At least I don't think so. I don't remember. That. Yeah, I don't think so. I don't think that the pager became a romantic device for me. I don't think so. I don't think I had it long enough. Yeah. That's the thing. I think I had it in the transition between like 6th and 7th grade, and in the 7th grade, and so I was not a Mac Daddy at all. And in 6th and 7th grade, I was awkward and long. I was a good athlete, but that was about it. That was about it. But that goes into how building friendships work, though, because as a kid, like I was awkward, like all kids are, but I was in an awkward way that made it okay, because I was also a pretty good athlete. Yeah. So like there was like a weird respect level that I just automatically gained from that, even though I guarantee if I wasn't playing basketball or something like that, I would have definitely been just a nerdy nerd.
Yeah, that was me. When I quit playing baseball, I just became a super dorky kid, and Pokemon cards, Digimon, Yu-Gi-Oh, art, bonding over video games with friends like Tony Hawk Pro Skater and Tony Hawk Pro Skater 2 and Smash Brothers, things like that. But
that's kind of, I have a thing with that though. When it comes to building friends deeper as you got older, I think that especially our generation, video games, that really, if you had friends maybe that you talked to, whatever, but if you were a gamer to a point, that's where sometimes you bonded even the most, when you were, I would say, from like 12 to about 18.
Oh yeah, think about it. Like when co-op Halo came out, man, you could plug 4 controllers into the Xbox and have your buddies come over, and even if you didn't like the guy that lived down the street, it was nice to have someone to play multiplayer with. So you were like, hey man, come on over. Oh yeah, dude. I remember playing like old SmackDown games with the guy that lived a block over, who was just so obnoxious. Like, he was one of those guys that he beat you at every game, and if you ever got close to beating him, he would rage quit and kick you out of his house. So you had to learn to just let him win.
That's awful. Let the Wookiee win.
Blitz, man. NFL Blitz. He'd play the Denver Broncos. He'd smash everybody. That sounds sexual. He did not that way. This was before smashing was a sexual connotation. This is when smashing was beating the crap out of someone.
Yeah.
But yeah, and like I said, if you ever got close to even catching up to his score and beating him, man, he would lose his mind. But now I guess what we really need to talk about is, now as an adult, how do you make friends?
Oh boy. So I have found I don't really want to.
Really?
I mean, not new friends.
Okay.
So it's kind of the same mindset I have when it comes to relationships. The idea of finding someone new and having to learn their likes and dislikes and temperament and history and all of that, it's just being real, it sounds exhausting. It sounds absolutely exhausting. Now, if it happens naturally, that's fine. Like the band I'm in.
Yeah.
Kennedy Rice, the lead singer, is a friend of mine. We were acquaintances through social media and music beforehand, but now I consider him a friend. I've learned his history. I've learned all those things and likes and dislikes and temperament. And it wasn't exhausting because we were connected within the music and we were trying to do that. So it was natural there. But the idea of finding someone new that I just want to like just hang out with and all of that just sounds very, very tiresome and time consuming to me right now.
Yeah, I get that, especially with the current state of the world. You don't really know how far you can trust people. You can't trust people as far as you can throw them, right?
Right.
So it's worrisome and it's hard, and we're getting older, we're getting comfortable. You know, like I find myself much happier just hanging out at home by myself, but I'm starting to realize that it takes a mental toll on you.
Yes.
And sometimes you have to be social. Energy, let's just call it. Yeah, interaction, the energy, the vibes, man. Like that's the kind of stuff that it keeps you sensible and it keeps you, going, and it can plant the seed of creativity, and at the same time it helps you avoid dying alone.
I like you tossing the salad of your thought right there with that.
Man, it's been a long week already. You
ate that thought's ass, and out came like a good one. It was good. But yeah, no, I agree with that. And that's funny that you say you like spending the time alone, because it's like it's the opposite of as a kid, right?
Yeah.
As a kid, maybe you never want to be alone, pretty much. Like you kind of want to always be doing something with somebody, playing the video games and multiplayer. Now, I mean, oh man, like couch co-op now.
Yeah,
as an adult. As a 38-year-old,
not that appealing for long term.
It's not, and like a podcast I listen to talks about how embarrassing like video games are just as a concept. Like going to go buy one, like asking someone to go play a video game with you after the age of 35 should be a federal offense.
It's almost like a situation now where you have to have a younger kid around because you're teaching them how to play, or you're playing with them to entertain them. So it's like, you don't want to be like, hey guys, I just got Mario Party 12. Everybody come over. We're going to have a Mario Party night now. Although
Smash Ultimate 16's out. Let's everyone get their main.
Yeah. But I will say this. Over the weekend, over the holiday weekend, I went down to Houston, story time. It's story time. I went down to Houston. And we always hop around. We'll be back to story time in probably another 10 minutes. So I went down to Houston to see a friend or some friends, visit their kids, take them their birthday presents, and they had another friend from high school staying down as well. And so when we were down there, the kids had fallen asleep at like 9:00, and we all set up and just talked about like high school and growing up and all the different things that we've been experiencing and doing. And it felt like a slumber party, man. Like we were all just sitting around in our PJs, the TV's playing some nonsense, and we were just talking about like just our promiscuity, just how slutty we were whenever we were in high school and stuff, and the horrible things
nailed it. That's
did.
the word.
Yeah, just all the horrible things we did, and the things we thought that we were cool for doing, and parties and gossiping about like old high school stories and where those people are now. And I was like, oh man, I forgot, like this is what friendship is when you can just get together with people and think about the old times and make new memories. And it's nice. It was really nice, man. Like it made me really appreciate that moment.
I do miss those moments because we had a very good friend group.
We did.
For a while that could do that, and not necessarily there was a core kind of group that could maybe talk about stories a little bit young, like you guys with the Spaghetti Warehouse stories could go further back, and then it kind of instance way up all the way, and so we had a good one, and this is where it gets kind of real. I made a choice to make a statement about something that was very important to me as a black man.
Yeah,
and I'm the only black man in our friend group.
Yes, yeah.
Only black person in our friend group, Catherine represents, her Mexican heritage. Yeah. But even really besides that, before Mark joined the band, I was the only person of color in our friend group.
There was a lot of, let me rephrase this. So we had you, we had a Hispanic, we had an Asian, we had a homosexual, and even then, I'd say I was an oddball in that group because you were a bunch of musicians, and I was probably the only person who didn't play an instrument, and yet somehow I was a part of the group just through happenstance.
But that was connectivity of the Spaghetti Warehouse, and then our other loves of creating and things like that. Yeah. But all it took was one statement from me about something, and then another person of making light of that and actually coming at me about stuff, and then that friend group kind of left me.
Yeah. Well, yeah, I think it was an odd thing where, how do I put it? I don't think anyone wanted to choose a side, and by not doing so, ultimately it just created a rift anyways.
Oh no, at that point in time, if you don't choose a side, you chose a side. You know what I mean? Like,
yes,
because it's one of those things, and now we see where the world is, and how things have been going, and that was at the beginning of all of that. Yeah, and it's like, okay, well, now the people who are kind of up in arms about something else that someone said had a chance to defend the friend, but decided to do what was comfortable.
Yeah. I don't think we have to beat around the bush on it. I mean, it was the first election of Trump. We were seeing a lot of divide in people over racial matters and sexual matters and religious matters, and we're still seeing it. Obviously, like we live in a time right now. We're in the second reign of Trump, is what I'll call it, because
actually no, this was actually COVID times.
So yeah, so it was Trump came into office during COVID.
No, it was at the end. Trump was president at the end of COVID. Like at the end of his presidency was COVID. Yeah,
because it was like 2020. So yeah. Time's a weird.
So this was. It is. Yeah, no, this is after. This was.
So we've already become decisive. Yeah, it was during the Black Lives Matter movement.
Yes. Yeah, just to give reference so everyone here can. So we had a fantasy football group. Yeah. Everyone had their fun little names and stuff like that. But I've always been like this. I've always been very. I'm not a social justice warrior, but I am. I'm not the negative definition of it, but I'm always like, hey, stuff's wrong. Mm-hmm. We should defend people who need defending. And I changed my name because, hey, I'm black and my life matters to Black Lives Matter. Our friend decided to change his to Llama Lives Matter.
Yeah. Which
that is like, that's a screw you to me. And that's not what a friend would do.
Yeah.
If a friend has an issue with me changing my name to that, which, people can have issues with that however they want to because of the connotation of Black Lives Matter and what it means or what the group behind it, come to me as a friend. Yeah. Don't, publicly basically kind of humiliate with that. That's a direct shot at me. And to me, a direct shot at something that meant something to me. So that's, as an adult friend, that completely drove me away from wanting to even be with that friend group, and apparently it drove them away from me.
Well, I mean, I'm not going to defend anybody here. I will play devil's advocate for brief. Will I? I don't know. Maybe not. Maybe it's not worth even doing that. Yeah, I mean, it's not worth doing. It is what it is. It's the past.
Yeah, exactly. And so to get it back on, how to maintain friendships.
Oh yeah.
I've still tried to maintain a personal relationship with a few people in that group, just to make sure it's known, like, hey, I don't hate anybody. There's no hate.
Yeah.
But to maintain a friendship like that, you have to, it goes both ways when it comes to communication. And I think that's where we as adults probably falter the most.
Yeah. Yeah. I will say that group of friends had a sense of humor where, as much as we liked to lift each other up, we also would joke around by punching down on one another.
Right.
I think a lot of people in that group have matured, especially since they're also growing up and they've got their own things going on. But I will say, like, even I'm guilty of that. Like, I used to punch down on our friend John all the time, and he's changed his life. He doesn't hang around as much anymore. And it was when that happened that I realized, like, I was kind of an asshole to John a lot of the time, and I teased him a lot and made fun of him a lot and poked at him a lot, and I miss him. And I realized, like, as much as he just grinned and took it. And don't be wrong, he would try to, like, do it back, but he was just he was never the best at it.
No, he's also very self-deprecating too.
Yes.
John, and that, I think, is how good friendships work, right? Is the temperature of your friends.
Yes.
And so we knew that we could mess around with him, and we weren't. Punching down is one way to phrase it, but we kid with each other. Friends kid with each other.
Yeah. It was about finding the line and making sure we didn't go across it. And sometimes we were bad at that. But again, I'm not defending.
Our buddy, just screw it with the name. I can't say our buddies too many times. PJ would be self-deprecating and joke about himself.
Yes.
And then others would seemingly take advantage of that, in my mind, to punch down. I think there's a difference because with John, it's a lot of, lifestyle stuff and not that way, but like just kind of, laissez-faire ways and things like that. And kind of he's a successful beach bum kind of guy. You know what I mean? Like if he ended up in a van, like on a beach somewhere, just living with sandals and a tan, we wouldn't think twice.
We would have thought he was living his best life because that's what he wanted.
Exactly. But and so, like, making fun with that and that whole vibe that he had is one thing, but when someone is a person of a different lifestyle, that's not just like, hey, I want to be a beach bum, but hey, I'm especially in a country music scene that's not very forgiving of people who make certain choices of their lives, to continually badger at that at different points in times and use slurs. To me, if you are a friend with somebody and you use a slur at them, like, no matter what they are, you're taking advantage of the fact that you're a friend and you just want to say the slur.
Yeah, I'll give you that. It's the to delight in that mood a little bit. It reminds me of Scrubs whenever JD's like, he's like, am I allowed to say it? And Turk's just like, no. He's like, but you say it all the time. He's like, I'm allowed to.
Yeah. And that's the part of maintaining. That's a part of knowing the temperature. And it's like, when you're a friend with somebody and you're an adult, are you making sure that you're aware of how you're treating somebody else? Because as a kid, we're not. A lot of times we're not. And we have to give ourselves a pass at that because our brain's not developed, right?
Yeah.
But as soon as the brain is developed, you need to be kind of realizing the words, the actions, the things that you do, even if you try to consider someone a friend, that has a psychological hold on somebody. You know, and the things that they may think of you when you're not around them are completely different than the way that they think about you when you're with them. So treat them in a way that, this is not advice time. It's kind of advice time. If you want to maintain a friend, treat your friends the same, like you would like them to say good things about you when they're not around you.
Yeah, I'll give you that. I think a big part of friendship is being conscientious of how you talk about your friends, because And there's a fine line, because you can care about your friends and want the best for them and say things that seem negative. And this is one of those things that I always battle with, is like, I'm not trying to talk negatively about people, because but I have this tendency to want to like fix and coach people. And so sometimes I'll be talking about it and I'll be like, man, this person really needs to do this and sort this out. And it's like, and it sounds like I'm being very judgmental of them. And it's like, no, it's like, I wish I would have helped them, and I can't because I don't know how to go to them without overstepping that line.
I feel that our friendship over the past half decade is way different than it was the previous, I guess, like 6 years before that. Maybe even a little less, because I realized how you interact with people more. And I started to realize a lot of the time, especially like in a creative sphere, your questions are not biting questions because you're biting. Your questions are biting questions because you're trying to get someone to think about the entire process. That perfectionist part of me, which is, I hate saying that because I don't think I'm a perfectionist, but I realized that compared to a lot of people, I am very analytical, look at every detail, perfectionist type mindset. And so I know exactly what you mean. There's a lot of times that I've come to you and Will, and I've asked questions where it started arguments, because it's like, you're like, like you or Will are like, what do you mean? Like, why are you asking that? And I'm like, because I want to make sure we put out the best product from the very beginning. And it's very much like, oh, well, that's not what we're looking at right now. And so I've had to like learn to reel that back and know when to bring up those things versus when to not to. And vice versa. You've learned that I'm not always trying to push a button and ignite, launch the missiles and start the war. It's like, sometimes I'm literally just like, hold on, let's pause, let's think about this. Let's dot the I's and cross the T's real quick before we complete the sentence.
It's funny you say that. I was literally watching a short earlier that was like, it was like when God made Virgo, and it's like, he will dot the I's and cross the T's. Then he'll realize his dot's not perfectly circle and his T has an arch to it, and it will ruin his day. And he will then go back and scrap it and start all over. And I was like, oh God, it's so true. It's so true.
I think you adjust as you get older with your friends, and you start learning. As if you're a good friend, you do. I think there is character development in everyone that needs to happen, and people who stay not static. Yeah, it's static, right? What's the term where you just stay still? Yeah, stagnant. If you stay stagnant, oh God, we're so dumb sometimes. We're really good at writing and things like that, and every once in a while our vocabulary just is like a sixth grader. How did I get American dum dum? We invented the language, but we can't speak it.
That's so true. Oh, it drives me insane when I see people email me improper grammar now. And I'm like, what does this sentence mean? And I'm like, oh wait, it's like I can dissect this, but
okay. Story. See, okay, this is a friendship thing that I know that I can do with this friend that I probably could, if I did it with a stranger, it'd be a real fight. A grammar correction to our buddy Will Shotwell on Facebook led me to South Park. Did you see this? Did you see this communication between me and Will?
I don't think so. Is this recent or is this?
Very recent. He shared a GIF of Ace. These pretzels are making me thirsty. He shared a GIF from Seinfeld, but the sentence that he wrote said, "The first episode of Seinfeld debuted 37 years ago, comma, and it, keyword it, and it still holds up to this day." I commented, maybe not the first episode, because, you know, even Jerry will say that it didn't hold it straight or whatever. Will got kind of snarky the way Will does, because, you know, the violator's the violator. He went, "Like I said, Seinfeld still holds," and I had to, as soon as I was like, "Wait a second, my friend."
Yeah, you're like,
here's the grammar police. Yeah, the grammar police siren started away. Subject and a predicate, my friend. Your subject is the first episode of Seinfeld, because you did not specify. You were talking about the show in general, and the word "it" came after it. It is the first episode, and it was just a little back and forth. But I know I can do that with Will. Yeah, because one, he does it to other people, and it's funny as hell. That's a perfect Will thing. Will would have done that to the violator. Would have boom that right there too. And so, but I know that's not going to affect us outside of that. No, because I know that person, and I know them because they're a friend, and I realize their personality trait and things like that. As a kid. And this is where Zaboys to men. As boys, that could have been a fight, an actual fight, right? As adults, as men, and we know each other that well, we know that that's things that we can poke each other about. That is only funny, maybe even to us, because we know the person we're doing. But it's also satisfying in that kind of poking at a friend way.
Yeah, and it's not a punching down moment. It's just a like. I know you well enough that I'm gonna do this to you, and yeah. Well, and it's the same thing.
Yeah. If he wouldn't have come at Starkey at first, I probably wouldn't have done it. But he came with that, and that is like, you know, again, you guys know me. If something sets me off a little bit to where I'm gonna fire off, I will. And so it was like the perfect storm of the people knowing each other. And that's what good friendships are. Yeah. No, it's funny. It's funny because you say that, and it reminds me. I did something to DWB, who old Zaboys host with us back in the day, back when Zaboys started. DWB. He posted something the other day about like this rant about how he's tired of seeing commercials say, "For the price of 1 cup of coffee a day, you can buy this." And me being me, and I know this, like, he got a chuckle out of this, but me being me, I went on a long tirade of like trying to figure out what is the exchange rate of coffee and what is the average, coffee like pay rate and whatnot, and was just like, so technically for the cup of for the same price as 10 pods of coffee, and he just came back with like, he's like, yes, everybody knows Waffle House is the standard exchange rate for coffee. But it's one of those moments where, like, had him and I been sitting there, I would have done it, and he would have looked at me like I was insane, and then just come back with, "Yeah, man, whatever." Yeah, exactly. Oh, yeah, good times, good friends. Yeah. Oh man, but yeah. Now, I don't know. We've had some story. It's one story we haven't told real fast. Oh, okay. How did you and I meet? Because I know it, and you know it. I don't know if the listeners know it. I remember first meeting you at a get-together. A party or a get-together was the first time I met you. And I think we met in one of the garages we would hang out in. I don't remember which one. I think it was a garage of some sort.
Probably John's.
Probably John. Actually, I think it was, because that was before I lived there. Yeah. And it was way before I lived there. But I think it was
the party house, and that's where we all just hung out. I vaguely remember it being someplace else. Not in the broad terminology of someplace else, but there was a bar that we all went to called Someplace Else.
Violator worked there.
Yeah, Violator was the bartender there. DWB ran karaoke there. There were comedy nights.
My band played there
Exactly.
a couple of different times. Yeah. Oh, that's another.
And I went there to drown my heartache.
Yeah, that's actually another weird okay, so do we have time to go down a little rabbit hole of why even someplace else became even more of a like connective tissue thing?
Yeah, we got plenty of time. I mean,
okay, so
look, it's our show. We can go as long as we want to.
Right. So this is how I met DWB. This all feeds into it because I met the person that co-founded Zaboys.
One of them,
Hutch. Well, not even. Yeah.
Oh yeah. No, Hutch. Yeah, Hutch.
Me and Will.
Yeah.
The original Zaboys at the beginning. I met him through Craigslist. So we had a Craigslist meeting.
Oh, Craigslist.
Yes. A couple of weeks later, after meeting Hutch to play music or whatever, we're trying to find other musicians. I end up at someplace else meeting my other friend, White Chris Edwards.
Yeah.
To buy, I think I'm buying marijuana. I think so.
Probably.
I think so.
It was a bar where you could
get
get anything you were looking for.
Yeah. And he was there. He was hanging out, and they just so happened to tell me, like, as I'm talking to Chris about.
Well, hold on. I got to make one corrective statement. Not anything you were looking for, because you couldn't find the love of a good woman there. But sorry, go on.
Oh, no. Yeah, including the bartender, who was the bartender that night, who, gosh, I can't remember her name. She's friends with me on Facebook. Anyway.
I know you're talking about. I can't think of her name.
Kylie.
There you go.
Kylie. Yeah. Kylie told me that we're just doxing everybody. Yeah. No cowards here. But
we're putting y'all on blast tonight. No, I'm kidding. Go on.
There was going to be music playing that night. Mm-hmm. So I'm like, okay, cool. Maybe we can find some musicians, like an open jam or something like that. Yeah. So me and Hutch come back to someplace else. And the only reason I know about this is because I was hanging out and meeting Chris there. Mm-hmm. So a friend that wasn't even a part of the friend group led me to the place that kind of connected all our friend tissue. That night, we're sitting there, we're watching these musicians, the big blues musician guy.
Mo.
No, not Mo. Not Mo. The big black guy. Can't remember his name. He was so good.
Yeah, I know you're talking about. I can't think of his name anymore either.
Really cool dude. But he was playing, and DWB is sitting behind me and Hutch. Mm-hmm. And I guess he had heard me and Hutch discussing that we were looking for musicians.
Yeah,
he tells Kylie. Yeah. He tells you
were a vocalist and Hutch was a guitarist at that point.
Yes, that was going to be the setup. And he gets Kylie's ear and tells Kylie that he hears this and tells her to tell us that he wants to meet.
Yeah.
So just by happenstance there. And the funny thing is, when me and Hutch saw Daniel, we thought he was like 35.
Yeah, I get that. He's like 6'2" and he's like a Viking.
Yeah, big beard, big curly blonde hair. Looks like he's worked on a farm or something at different points in his life.
Yeah,
he has. And so we thought he was an older guy. We're like, well, okay, because me and Hutch were 20. Hutch is 23. I'm 25.
Yeah.
Like 25, 26. We're not old. We're not super, super young, but
you
definitely
were probably pushing 26 at that point.
Yeah.
You're probably on the cusp of it. Go on, sorry.
We all started hanging. That became, because that like splintered out into meeting Will at school, who was looking at Yu-Gi-Oh manga instead of doing work during our broadcasting class. Yep. And I looked up and I said, yep, that guy's got the right idea. And he presented himself as a bassist in the class that we were. This is before he actually probably was a better bassist than he was then, but he said he played bass. And so I was like, hey, Will, would you like to join our band? And so it's so crazy that it all kind of like spoke from a Craigslist. Mm-hmm. Craigslist got this friend group together, because if it wasn't for me hooking up with Hutch, not that way on a Craigslist. Jesus, pause.
M looking for M.
We did live together in a very small area. Who knows? Oh, no, kidding. But no, if it wasn't for me doing that Craigslist, I wouldn't have met Hutch.
Yeah.
I would not have asked Will to come play base and hung out that way, would not have reached out to, or DWB wouldn't have reached out to us.
To be your drummer.
And then we wouldn't have met because I wouldn't have met any of them. So that kind of all led us back to someplace else.
Well, you see, and that's the funny thing. I worked with Will, and we did not get along. Like, we did not talk to each other. I thought he was a D-bag. He thought I was a D-bag. And then I got broken up with when I was 26, and I knew about someplace else because some coworkers had dragged me over there for an open mic comedy night.
Okay.
And I was having a blast, enjoying it. My girlfriend at the time was supposed to meet me there. She did not make it to the show, but said she was on her way, and I was still just hanging out. And it happened to be that Will was working there. But before I met Will, I was there that night waiting for my girlfriend, and all of a sudden the karaoke DJ, the KJ, takes over because the comedy's done. And so there's like me, and I am furiously mad. So there's 4 cute girls there. And I'm like, I'm going to serenade these girls with some karaoke. So I went up to the KJ and I said, hey, man, set up Backstreet Boys. I Want It That Way. I'm going to nail this one. I'm going to knock this one out of the park.
Yeah.
And he looks at me with his fucking big booming smile and blue eyes and goes, yeah, man, I got you. And he sets it up, and I get up there, and he joins me, and together we sing I Want It That Way. And these girls were going nuts for him. And I said to myself, this fucking guy stole the wind out of my sails. Fuck this guy. Lo and behold, that was DWB.
He came in there like Superman.
Yep. And don't get me wrong, I didn't get his name. I never thought I'd see the guy again.
Right.
We fast forward, like I said, like a couple months. I'm now single. I go to someplace else because I'm heartbroken. I don't want to be at home by myself. I walk in. Will, the violator, is now the bartender there. This guy that I've worked with who I did not like.
Right.
But he, gives me a beer. He listens to me bitch and moan about my life. And so it's this 36-year-old dude who's heartbroken, drinking his sorrows away and just writing in his sketchbook. And a bunch of old guys smoking cigarettes and shooting pool. And I'm like, oh, this is my future. Sad and lonely in a bar, heartbroken forever. But I keep going up there night after night after night and hanging out with Will. Right. And finally one night he's like, hey man, I'm going to this music thing over at this other bar. You should come. And I'm like, yeah, man, that's cool. I'll go. And we go over to Bentley's, not Bentley's.
Jared Bentley's?
No,
Jay Gilligan.
Jay Gills. It was weird to have two
that was the other
names.
big spot. Yeah.
Yeah. So we go over to Jay Gills, and we get there, and there's DWB playing music, and I recognize him. And I'm at the bar, and I'm getting shots for me and Will, because this is when Will could take shots without instantly just rejecting them. Yeah. And I lean over to Will, and there's this other guy to my left, and he's leaning on the bar, and he's talking to the bartender. I lean over to Will, and I go, you see that guy on the stage right now? And he's like, oh yeah, DWB. And I'm like, I've met that guy. I was like, look, that guy could fall out of a boat, and he'd land in pussy before he hit water. And the guy to my left turns to me and he goes, what'd you say? And I was like, oh shit. I was like, I don't know who this guy is. I was just saying the guy on the stage, man, like if he would fall out of a boat and he'd hit pussy before he hit water. And he goes, oh, that's cool. I'll tell him you said that. And I was like, oh, do you know him? And he's like, yeah, that's my roommate. John motherfucking Epps.
I can see in my mind that whole interaction. Oh, what'd you say? Oh man.
So I go up to Daniel and just tell him myself. I'm like, hey man, I was like, I just gotta say, I remember you from someplace else. And I was like, here's this joke I just made about you. And he just looks at me and he goes, cool, man. Hey, thanks. And what's ironic though is I remember going up there one night, and I'm fairly certain you were there one night, and that's why I think we met at someplace else as well. We just didn't click that we had met until you started coming to events, and until Will told me that y'all were looking for someone to join the podcast. And that's where I came over to Will's place that night that I stabbed my hand and did my first episode with you guys.
Yeah, that actually seems about right. You would have met me at someplace else rather than J Gills. I didn't frequent J Gills as much as I did other places. I really don't know why, but I just wasn't really into that. Well, what's another crazy thing is the connectivity that sometimes you can find in friend groups through unexpected places like that, because J Gills also is where Free at Conformity without me did a lot of stuff, and that's how they kind of knew the crew a little bit from like, that's why it wasn't like 7 degrees of separation too much whenever I joined the band. Like, people knew kind of them, like, because they played open mics there and played acoustically there, which is so funny to think about.
Metal bands playing acoustically.
Yeah, but yeah, so it's interesting that J Gills has that kind of, but as you get into your 20s and 30s, if you do frequent places like that, that becomes your sports team. That becomes the thing that you kind of become friends with people because they go to the same place as you. Instead of going to the same school, you go to the same bar, or you go to the same club, or I guess as adults now, maybe you find a gym buddy. Yeah. Like, he's always at the gym at the same time as you, you know what I mean? You have the same routine. You kind of see him like that. Yeah, that could be a thing. What are some other places that you think as adults you make friends now?
Yeah, so I think it's time we can roll forward into what would Zaboys do. Yeah. So like I said, you've hit gym, bars are a thing. As much as people always talk about like coffee shops, I don't think people go to coffee shops to mingle. I think you go with the intention of having someone go with you, or you're just grabbing your coffee and going. Life's too fast to be hanging around coffee shops and trying to make friends now.
I don't want to be approached when I'm at a coffee shop. I really don't.
You're there to do something.
Yeah, whenever I was going to that Arabic coffee shop, we would do stuff, writing sessions and things like that.
We were writing Murphy's Law.
I wouldn't want anyone coming up and talking to me randomly out of that.
Yeah, we were writing Murphy's Law and other stuff, so I should say. Yeah. But no, you're exactly right. I remember when people would hop on your camera in the background and start waving, and you'd be like, "What's going on?" Because I'd be sitting there waving back at them like a. If they were a cute girl, I was looking for any opportunity to find a partner in life. Still am, but that's a whole different episode.
I got a question.
Yeah.
Do you really think bars are places where people make friends, or do you make friends when you're at the bar?
I think you make friends in your 20s. I think you make friends at the bar if you start frequenting one. Whether it be friends with the staff, because I did that a lot in my 20s, where I'd go to bars, befriend the bartenders or the waitresses, and start getting invited to like random house parties and stuff. Yeah. The next thing you know, you realize you're around a bunch, like you're like, oh, this person's great as my server or bartender, but now that I'm seeing them in a different light and high on X, I don't know if I really want to be around this person.
Right. Yeah.
Taking X at a house party makes no sense. Just saying.
It doesn't whenever you're not 16.
Exactly. Yeah. X is for raves, people. X is for raves. Not someone's living room.
So, or if you're a couple, I will say this: if you're a couple, if you're a couple and you got the time, you got kids, no nothing, go ahead, slide yourself some Molly, just hang out, just get to know each other.
I'll give you that. That's all. Again, another episode. That's
the boys. What would the boys do?
Yeah. No, so okay, so we've hit gyms, we've hit bars. We've addressed coffee shops. There is a thing that a friend recently turned me on to, just adult social groups. Like there's one here in Dallas called Young and Social. They do exercise classes, dance classes,
Mhm.
painting nights, game nights. And it's a nice way that if you're new to the area, you can go and meet mutual people who are looking for friendship and like-mindedness. My only problem with that is that it never really worked for me because I went with a friend and I end up spending most of my time with that friend.
With that friend, yeah.
And I might talk to other people. Like the first time I went, I made it a very big point to talk to other people. But when the night's wrapping up and you're going home, you're like, do I really want to like ask this person for their number because I want to invite them out to go do something? Not really.
Right.
Yeah.
We're already doing something.
Yeah.
We are. Like that's why social clubs to me are good only if you're new in town.
Mm-hmm.
Because if you've been there for a while and you're established, with your routine and things like that, whenever you do the social club thing, that is your outing.
Yeah.
And then so the idea of trying to do another separate outing with those people again, like I was saying at the very beginning of the show, sounds exhausting.
Yeah.
You gotta get their number, communicate more, text, plan it. What time? When do you work? Where do you work? How close? Like all that stuff just seems like the logistics of being a friend when you're an adult is mind-boggling. It becomes a gig.
Yeah.
If you want to do it right, it becomes a gig.
Well, exactly. That's the thing is anytime I go to a social group or if I go to a concert or something and I'm out to mingle with people, I feel like I am putting on an act. It's like I am putting out so much energy to shake hands, meet people, introduce myself, get to know them, that it kind of gets exhausting after an hour that you're kind of just like, can I go home now? Like, and now if someone does spark it and make it fun and you're like, oh man, this is a good time. Sure, you might end up really enjoying the night, but it's one of those things that you end up probably having too many drinks or doing some questionable things. And then you still go home and I'm sure you might have that person's number. When you wake up in the morning, you're like, who is Sora? What the fuck did I write here?
No. With me, it's who is 214-47.
You don't even get the name in there. Yeah.
I fucking am so bad at getting people's not getting people's names, but putting their names in my phone. I'm just really bad at that. I'm just not good at it. And so I have a lot of people that even like that are in my work right now that are definitely numbers that I remember who they are based off the text. And I'm like, oh yeah, that's that person. And then sometimes I'm like, ooh, I sent this kind of the same person twice. Crap. Yeah. Who are they? Who are these people?
That's another place though. Making friends at work.
Yeah. Making friends. I was about to say that. Making friends at work. But here's the thing about that.
Yeah.
How do you draw the line between personal life and work life if you make friends with people at work? And I think as an adult, you have to do that more.
I would agree with you. Sorry, but I am really bad at it. You swinging on that fly? No, I got you.
I like, oh man, to draw people into what just happened, a horsefly about 1.5 inches just landed very close to me. And everyone out there knows horsefly bites hurt. I think I got the sun bee, but I'm not sure. It bent my fly swatter. It did. It bent the fly swatter. It was so big. It was huge. Like it's a horsefly size that you look at it and you see it and you go, oh yeah. Like yeah. So hopefully I got it. But yeah, okay, we're back.
No, you're good. Yeah, no, work is an odd one. Like I said, I'm not good at separating my my work friendships from my real friendships. Matter of fact, I have a lot of past coworkers that are friends still. Mm-hmm. Like I went to lunch with one today and we were catching up. And granted, we talked about work stuff and old time. He's not with the company anymore. I still am, but we were still talking about the company. And then we talked about life too, and we talk about video games and anime and things that we do. So we've grown past it just being a work friendship. My only concern is that it's still a struggle sometimes to be like, hey, I want to invite this guy to go do something. Mm-hmm. Because we are into such different things, and he's not a very big like social guy. So whenever I'm going out, I'm like, I don't want to drag him to like a concert or a bar because it's like, well, you don't drink, and local music is always in bars where people are drinking, and But like you said, I think it is. You have to define the line. Like once you realize that a coworker is a friend, you really have to go, okay, we've got to talk about more than just complaining about work together.
Yes, that is definitely. And I think that's something on the advice of, if you're going to find a friend, find someone that you do have more than one thing in common with.
Yeah.
Like if all you have in common with somebody is the gym, they're not your friend. They're a guy who you go to the gym with that you can probably should just, because this is what happens if you don't do that and you try to like commingle the things that you like doing that they don't like doing or aren't into, to try to get build the friendship. As adults, it's so hard to get into new things. You end up almost worsening the friendship or the acquaintanceship that you have, because then it's like one's pushing something on another, and then you actually might see the ugly side of them or the negative side of them as they don't enjoy what they're doing.
Yeah.
And then it's like, well, okay, well, if you don't enjoy this, I really enjoy this. Why would I want to hang out with you more? Let's just keep it at that. And then when you make that break, it's like, well, why were we even kind of hanging out to begin with? And it's all sorts of things. Like try to make sure that your people that you're spending your time with, you can spend more than just a little bit of your time with them if you're going to call them a friend.
Yeah. No, I agree with you. A friendship is based off of more than just one shared interest. You got to have, I'd say, at least 4 shared interests, like an activity that you can do together that you bonded over, and then a similar sense of humor or something. And then maybe another thing you enjoy doing together outside of the thing you first met doing, and then from there, I think you can start to grow. I can't think of a fourth one.
Yeah, like maybe the backgrounds are. I mean, that doesn't have to match up, but it's hard for somebody who grew up with a silver spoon in their mouth to connect with somebody who has been a working Joe for 25 years. It's not impossible, but it's not easy. Those are the friendships that you have to work through and have to really like find those commonalities and common grounds on. That's kind of why we're in the predicament we are in as a country and a world, is because of how difficult that is of people who have different backgrounds. Yes, and we're in a society that at this point in time kind of separates ideologies and ideas more than it tries to combine them.
Oh yeah.
And you have to pick a side, which I'm not going to tell you not to pick a side. So pick the one you want.
Yeah.
But it's like, are you only going to hang around people who think like that?
Right.
And
that's creating an echo chamber.
Yes. I think the term echo chamber, when it comes to your friends, doesn't exist, because if you want to get along with someone and enjoy your time with them, why would you willingly put yourself with somebody who doesn't share your same values and same ideals? Right. And you don't have to not associate with those people altogether, but it's, if you're inviting them into your circle, like your actual friend circle, you're almost you are co-signing that what they believe or what they're doing is okay. And so it to me, it's like, I want to surround myself with people and call them friends if they share in those ideals with me. It's not an echo chamber. It's me being around people I want to be around with. Now, if I just shut off any communication or thought from another side, that is when the echo. If you're only following certain pages, only listening to certain people talk, only following certain news and stuff like that, that's an echo chamber. But you and your friends talking about stuff, like, I don't think that it shouldn't be. That's just you.
No, I'm saying there are people who do it. There are people who make friend groups based off of we are all the exact same.
Right.
And that's why we're friends. And it's like, and that's not a good thing. There's no growth in that. Surrounding yourself by people who think and speak exactly like you can be a very detrimental thing to growing as a human being.
Okay, I can agree with the exact, because that can get into cult-like. I just think in shared values.
Yeah,
I think that's a little bit of the difference in that is like I just think that, you know, people can have the same thought process. Like, okay, perfect example. Me and Kennedy have different thought processes on the death penalty.
Okay, yeah.
I'm very much for the death penalty. He's very much against it. So is Lindsay's very much against it.
Yeah.
My girlfriend. And so it's like, but that's not, you know, that's a difference of opinion on something. But our shared value is that people should be punished for actual crimes that they do, and some people should be punished more harshly. I just think the harshness sometimes doesn't go far enough sometimes, or should go a certain way. They don't think any human life should be lost in that way. But so that's not an echo chamber right there, but we still have the same moral code and values that I would like to be around.
You're right. Yeah. And that's what I'm saying. You don't want somebody to do who only agrees with you. You want people who challenge you and also bring you up and make you think differently and look at things differently in the world.
Yeah.
That's because those are friends who are going to create growth. And I think something we just kind of tiptoed around, and I forget what this whole module is called, but there's this, I remember from interpersonal communication in college. I only have a 2-year degree, so I'm not trying to brag that I went to college here. All I'm saying is that I took some courses and managed to somehow get through it. But there was this thing in interpersonal communication, and it was the friendship sphere is what I'm going to call it. I don't think it's actually called that. But at the center, you have, you know, your best friends, right? Then you have the next ring, which is close friends, followed by friends, social friends, followed by acquaintances.
Yes.
And so the idea is like everyone you meet falls somewhere within one of those rings or completely outside of it as just a stranger.
Yeah.
And I think that's something I think we didn't really address, but we just kind of touched on is like your best friends are going to fall very close to you, and you're going to want the best for them, even if they don't fully 100% agree with you on everything, because they shouldn't. So,
right.
I don't know. What we haven't touched on was what would Zaboys do about maintaining friendships? Because that's harder. You know, we're getting older. Our friends are building families, moving.
Yeah.
You know, I think you told me a story about that recently, where like because of where you've moved, it's harder for you to see your friends.
Yep. Yes.
And I'll be honest with you, man. I still live close to our friend group, and I barely see them anymore because everyone's busy. I mean, Violator
changing life.
Yeah, we've stated Violator's about to have a kid. Even he stated it. DWB and Catherine they just had their kid. Some people have
Epps has a family now. Yeah, Epps
married and built a family. And, you know, he does soccer and baseball stuff all weekend, and when he's not working now, and then I think they just recently moved. I don't remember.
Right.
And like I said, certain people
I'm all the way out and 2 hours away. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. You're a 2-hour drive away. Other people have chosen to just kind of leave the group on their own accords for their own reasons. And I'll tell you, man, there's days where I think oh man, the burden's on me to keep the group together. But I've had to learn growing up that that's not my burden. Like, because I've done it for you know, I did it in middle school, I did it in high school, I did it in my 20s, where I was the guy that was like, got to keep the group together, and it's exhausting. And so this time I've kind of just gotten to a point where I'm like, you know what? I'll see people when I see them. I will make efforts to make sure that I see them, especially the people I truly care about. And I think, yeah. So you're waving that finger at me, not in a bad way, but like in the you hit something.
Yeah, I think that's where we're at with what would Zaboys do about maintaining friendships is effort.
Exactly.
Effort is a big part of it, and it doesn't have to be big. And I think that's maybe sometimes where, as human beings, we get locked up and not be able to follow through, is because we think that there has to be some kind of big hoopla or big shebang around getting together or something like that. Oh, yeah. And, you know, it just the effort to communicate at all is good. And especially right now in the age of social media, efforting looks different.
Yes.
And I think accepting that also is a big part of maintaining friendships, is understanding where people are in their lives. And maybe the most someone can do, because of how busy they are or all that stuff, is to notice stuff that you do online.
Yeah.
And communicate that way.
Yeah. Comment on your stuff. Be a friend, support you from afar. But even then, another thing I think is, there's that saying that people always say, oh, the phone works both ways.
Yes.
It does. And if you hang yourself up on that concept of like, well, I'm not going to reach out to anybody because they aren't reaching out to me, you're going to end up real lonely. Like sometimes you've got to stop and think and remind yourself, like, people have stuff going on. You're not the top priority in their life. So maybe if you miss them, just shoot them a text and be like, hey man, how you been? Or, hey, how you doing? Just seeing how things are going. Haven't talked to you in a while. Because that goes a long way, man. That can really make someone's day, especially a friend that you haven't talked to in a while. So,
yeah, because they could be going through something. Because you never know what someone's going through, why they've gone like either silent or like kind of withdrawn. You don't know. So a simple, hey, you all good? That could, maybe they're not. Maybe they are, and they just like got caught up. You know what I mean? I think that sometimes we as humans, we tend to get, I don't want to say possessive, but sometimes there's a maybe our ego gets hurt a little bit.
Yeah.
Whenever someone isn't communicating with us, and we feel that, what did we do? Like, or what, they can't find the time to blase, whatever it is. And it's like, okay, take a step back. Why haven't you, like, I think this is a good rule of thumb.
Yeah.
If you think someone hasn't communicated with you in a long time, think about a person that that you haven't talked to, and why haven't you? Think about a different person and just think about why haven't you reached out to them? Not the same person, because then that's where you can get that back and forth of, well, they haven't hit me up. And if you say the same thing in your mind again, well, they haven't, then that'll maybe start realize, oh, wait, I am also kind of the problem in that, because I haven't hit anyone up either.
Yeah.
So
once
if
it's
you're
an
like,
accident, 2 times is a pattern, or whatever that saying is, maybe 3 times is a pattern.
Yeah,
exactly.
If you don't have friends but know a lot of people, you got to look inward at that point in time. I think.
Oh, I agree.
Yeah, there's a chance that there's something that you could adjust, and not even in your and don't take it as personality either, because I don't think that you change your personality to make friends, but approach and the things that you do when it comes to communication, when it comes to surrounding yourself with the right people and things like that can go a long way in making friends and keeping friends than trying to chameleon yourself into friends.
Yes.
That's what the boys don't right there. Do not chameleon yourself into friends. You will be it will end badly. People will see through it. People will call you out on it. And as soon as you start bouncing around from friend group to friend group to friend group, and you start burning so many bridges that you end up lonely because you can't be around people because everyone knows that you're kind of a snake or you're not really authentic, and you want to be an authentic person to make friends.
Yeah, no, I agree. Like you said, if you can't be your authentic self, that around those people, they're not your friends. That's just a running group, I guess, at that point. Well, I'll tell you what, let's, I have a little bit of a TLDR, too long didn't read version here from some research I did. So basically it says this: making friends as an adult requires intentionality, consistency, and vulnerability. The most effective methods include joining interest-based groups, hobbies, sports, classes, which I think we addressed, volunteering, leveraging existing networks for introductions, which I think we also addressed. Yeah. Using friendship apps like Bumble BFF. I don't know. I steer clear of that. Apps are a mess.
That's not good for dating. And I think it's even weirder to swipe for friends.
Yeah. Yeah. When they introduced that feature, I went, what is this and why on earth would I do this?
Right.
And then lastly, and consistently showing up to places to allow for natural, repeated interactions.
And I guess that's where the bar comes in, because that's usually a place where people have the most consistent outward social interaction, I would say, because that's a place where it's built for the social nature. Like, you know, a library is not built for socializing. You know, like restaurants aren't built for socializing with strangers. The bar, the open floor concept, all that stuff, the bar itself, it's built to be around other people and talk to other people. If you're there consistently, you're going to naturally make those friends. So yeah, that makes sense. And that whole list completely made sense. We did basically go over all of it, because that's how you do it. And if you, and so I guess we can kind of talk a little bit about not just the advice that we give, but what about those advice people? Like how to win friends and influence people and stuff like that. Like that whole genre of the self-help sphere, where it's telling you how to socialize. Yeah. And not necessarily pickup artists, but kind of pickup artists, because I think if you extrapolate the ideals that they're putting out there for women to friends, it's the same concepts. It's all the same stuff. And so it's like, do you find that's helpful? Do you find the stuff that, you know, we're not here on Zaboys, we're not telling you what to do, but those guys are. Yeah. Yeah. So a lot of those books originate in concepts of social engineering. They're just not crossing the line of doing bad things with social engineering. That said, some of them are still very detrimental and damaging, you know, like the concept of like negging, which again, dating concept, but yeah, applying it to a friend. Negging can be a very dangerous thing. You're hurting someone's self-esteem just to try to like make them feel like they should like you. It's a weird thing. So yeah, I mean, is it okay to like rely on resources and look into like maybe some more strategic understanding of socializing and making friends? Sure. But don't take it as like, you know, the word, right? Like it's not like going to be the thing that's always going to work. Just find a way to learn those concepts and be genuine with them. I firmly agree. I've never been a fan of those things, and I think psychology and sociology, just those concepts, can help you more than a self-help guru telling you. If you learn about humans and how people think, and if you can apply that and pay attention, then you can use those things. But I mean, most people who probably are trying to use a formula to make friends need to work on themselves and just be happy with themselves more than they need to try to find people to be happy with them. Yeah. Because that's kind of the chameleon thing. Now you don't feel like you can be your authentic self, so you're going to an outside source to try to craft an image that you think people will like. Yep. And a lot of times it's like, no, there are people who will like you for you if you like you. Yeah. Find your tribe. Yeah. Find your tribe. True tribe. Yep. Well, man, I think we tackled it. The only last piece of advice I could give is for maintaining friendships, be open to forgiveness in a sense. Sometimes we have to be willing to hear people out and be willing to forgive them, even like, especially friends, in moments where they've hurt us. But at the same time, they have to be willing to apologize too. And that's a big thing. That's a hard thing, because we all have egos and we don't want to be taken advantage of. Yeah. It's very hard to do when you're being vulnerable to people. Sometimes it happens, but we still have to be willing to stand our ground and say, hey, this was my line. You crossed it. And if you're not going to apologize, I'm not going to forgive you. That's it. Yeah, that's friendship. I can't say anything more on that. I think you nailed it, my friend. My friend. Yes. My friend, my Stephen A. Smith, my friend, LeBron James.
And we hope that, I don't know if you're listening out there. Hopefully our friends out there are listening, but also if you don't think we're your friend, that's fine, because we're just two guys gabbing on the internet, and you can hear us anywhere and everywhere. You check us out on YouTube specifically. What is it? It's at
Zaboys Media TV.
Yes, thank you. Find us on Acast. That might be where you're listening. You might be listening on Spotify or Apple Music or Amazon Music. Or is Amazon Music a thing? Probably.
Amazon Podcast is a thing. Yes.
There you go. Yeah. And if you're not listening to us, or if you are listening to, actually, yeah, don't worry if you're not. If you are listening to us and you think
if you're not listening to us right now, how the hell are you hearing this? That is amazing. If you're not listening to us right now, comment below how you're not listening to us, and let us know how. Because you're a mutant. If you're not listening to us, you're Jean Grey or you're Professor Xavier, you're the Scarlet Witch, you're somebody. We need to know.
Yeah. I was gonna say, if you are listening to us and you think that you have a friend who would also enjoy listening to us, share it. Just share our stuff. Because we would really like to hit either 100 subscribers on YouTube or at least a higher ranking on some of our Spotify and Acast stuff. So, if you're listening to this and you like it, hit a thumbs up, leave a comment, share it. We'd really appreciate it. Hell, we'd even call you a friend.
We'd definitely call you a friend, and we'd call you if you gave us your number. We'd put you on the Discord. Who knows?
Yeah. I might text you, hey man, just thinking about you. You up?
Yeah, you'll get a you up from Zaboys Media TV if you give us a like.
On that note, guys, it has been very, very fun. Chris, always pleasure talking with you, especially when we decide to get deep like this. And
Yep.
We bared some of our soul tonight as well. So with that, we're gonna say Manawia and stay gold, Pony Boy, and find your safe space. Thank you for listening to Zaboys to Men, a Zaboys Media podcast. If you're going through hard times or struggling with mental or physical stress, please seek out professional help, because we are not trained professionals. If you like what you're hearing and want to find more, you can check us out at youtube.com under Zaboys Media Network, or on Spotify by searching Zaboys or The Locals Connection. Thank you again for listening, and until next time, find your safe space and stay gold, Pony Boy.